Well, for our first story, 5 people have drowned and one is suspected to be missing after the vehicle they were traveling on got swept away by floods at Estresu, Adija, close to Atunsu in Kumasi. The river Nkonim had overflowed its banks and the driver of the vehicle tried in vain to drive through the strong current over a broken bridge. Police and fire service personnel spent hours trying to locate them in the river just some few hours ago. Erastus Asari Donko has been on the beat and he's joining us live on the phone. Good morning to you, Erastus. Erastus, good morning.
Good morning, Roland.
Well, and we know that this is, we're just getting this from the wires the last few hours. When exactly did this incident happen?
Well, it happened around 10 p.m. That was on Thursday, yesterday. And it rained for a while. And you know that the river Adija and Oda, when it rains in other areas, it overflows its banks. And so yesterday, that's exactly what happened. The whole place was cut off. And, you know, it has been raining previously. And so the only bridge that connects the town to the rest of Kumasi is broken. And the drivers try to meander their way around it. But yesterday's flood had a strong current. But this family, I learned they were sick in the saloon car. And they tried to meander their way through the strong current on the broken bridge. And so midway through the journey, their vehicle got swept away by the strong current into the main frame of the river. And so it took fire service personnel and the police hours. In fact, we've been up on our feet all night. They were trying to search for the vehicle. They couldn't find it. And then finally, when the water started receding, then we saw the vehicle stuck in the middle of the river. And that's where the thieves poured libation around 4:30 a.m. This morning. They poured libation and the divers went into the river, opened the vehicle, and were able to retrieve the bodies of 5 people, including a DHS student, a boy, and a woman. But so far, they say that the driver of the vehicle is still missing because when they opened the vehicle, his side of the vehicle was open, and so he might have been swept away by the strong current. So they are still mounting a search for him at the moment.
Have these, the missing person as well as those who have been pronounced dead, have they been identified in any way?
Well, for now, we know that the missing person is called one Mr. Repo. We also have other names like Ofe and Mercy. The only woman is called Mercy. But we do understand that they belong to the same family. They are part of Jehovah's Witnesses who were constructing a new Kingdom Hall in the area. And so they had closed from work for the day and they were returning home. And that is where they were met with the flood. And they tried to drive to their destination.
The incident and the area and the river, does it have any history of such incidents when it rains? I mean, accidents, so to speak, not necessarily the flooding.
Well, not to this magnitude, but we have reported on several occasions, myself and my colleagues in the newsroom, that the bridge itself, through floods, successive floods we've witnessed in the past months, had broken the bridge, so the whole area is cut off. The bridge is broken in two. The bridge is broken in two, and so at the moment, if vehicles want to cross, they have to meander their way around it. It's a very dangerous move for the moment. And so the people are pleading with government to at least fix the bridge for them, because if it continues to rain, then we are not only going to witness such events, but then the whole area will be cut off completely.
But what material is the bridge made of?
I must say, from a layman's point of view, looking at it, I would say the one who constructed it did a very shoddy job, because the brake is broken completely in two, and you could see that there was no iron rod in there, and the materials are of inferior quality, and so the other half is sitting somewhere, and the other half is sitting somewhere, and it's a very bad scene to behold.
Okay, so it's made of concrete, right? Cement and the rest, right?
Yes, it's made of concrete.
Okay, all right. So as far as the rescue efforts are, did the police and the fire service, did they come in time following the calls to them?
I must say the police were there on time, so was the fire service, but they were totally helpless. In fact, at a point in time when they couldn't trace the vehicle, the fire service personnel went away, and all efforts throughout the night to call them to come back to try to retrieve the vehicle from the river when we found it proved futile. They did not come at all. And so it was after the police came back, then they called the chief. Some of the youth in the area said they can dive into the river, they can retrieve the bodies. So the chief had to pour libation, and then the young guys in the area held their hands together, went into the river and retrieved the body. So as we speak, the vehicle is still stuck in the middle of the river, and there are no heavy equipment to even lift it. Well,
we'll try and get as much as information in the next few hours as to what has been done so far as in the investigations. But Erastus Asaridanko, thank you very much, bringing us up to speed with the latest we're getting from Kumasi, which is indicating that we've had at least 5 persons reported dead and 1 other missing as they drowned on a vehicle. They were traveling across just a makeshift bridge on a river at Atonsu. Well, we'll bring you the latest as far as that is concerned.
Right now, police have intensified investigations following the gruesome murder of a woman by her husband at Enya, right here in Accra. The suspect, Mensa Agri, is alleged to have inflicted a deep cut to his wife's head with a machete after a heated argument over infidelity claims. Now, police say the suspect is in custody, assisting the police with investigations. Ifwa Evans-Chinnery has been looking into it and learnt this.
Residents say the suspect, Mensa Agri, a 42-year-old air conditioner repairer, and his 40-year-old wife, Adwa Frimpoma, who is a firewood seller, have been living in the area for the past 3 years. But they say all has not been well with the couple, as they have been quarreling over marital issues for some time now. Landlord of this house, Barnabas Aban, said he was called by one of the tenants Thursday morning after blood stains were found at the door leading to the deceased room. After breaking into the room, he found a machete and a knife lying next to the lifeless body of the woman. Mr. Aban said he then called for help and conveyed the body of the deceased to the Amasaman Government Hospital, where she was pronounced dead.
In the morning, I was in my room when one of my tenants called me that she has seen a blood stain in the deceased porch inside. So I rushed to the porch and I found a blood inside. So I forcefully entered into the room. I saw the woman in the room with her blood all over. So I rushed her to hospital, and then I also went to the police station to report the whole case. I later had a call from the hospital that she has died. So I went back to the hospital and then I sent her to the mortuary, Kolebu mortuary.
Some of the tenants described the suspect as calm, but one who had issues with his wife.
He's a friend that we all meet one-on-one. We discuss of issues pertaining to our lives. So just 3 days ago, I was from Cape Coast. I alighted at the place. I met him. He was very quiet, and I asked him, why was he so quiet? And he said, Ben, the problem I'm going through, I don't know who can help me solve the problem. I said, so I had to talk to him and then tell him to exercise patience. This is a marriage issue, so we should seek for counseling. He said he understands, but he will see what to do. So we promised to meet last night. We couldn't meet this morning until I heard the news that this is what has happened.
The suspect after the act dumped the stained mattress, a knife and some other items at the back of the house. He was arrested in the shower after neighbors noticed the woman had died. The body of the deceased has been deposited at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital morgue. Ifwa Evans Chinui for Joy News.
I'll still stay on crime. And police in the Upper West region, they have arrested 2 suspected highway robbers. The men are believed to be behind several attacks on passengers along the Wa-Nadoli-Lora highway. Some 26-year-old Isa Yusuf and a 21-year-old man, Mohammed Ganiu, were picked up from their hideout where 5 shotguns were also found alongside. JoyNews Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
There are 2 highways considered by passengers in the Upper West region as the most insecure and dangerous. One is the Wa-Sola-Bomboy Highway and the other being the Wa-Nadoli-Lora Highway. These 2 highways have for months been ruled by robbers who carry out their activities in broad daylight. Passengers are robbed at gunpoint and those who resist shot dead or injured. However, for the Wa-Nadoli-Lora Highway, there seems to be some relief after the arrest of 2 members of a 3-member robbery team. Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCOP Boapia Kojo Ochure, is the Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service.
On reaching a section of the road between Kario and Nadoli, the personnel sighted a tricycle parked on a branch road near the main road. They became curious and confronted the 2 young men who gave their names as Isa Yusuf alias Nabali, age 26, unemployed, and Mohammed Ganui, age 21, tricycle rider. In the tricycle, but they could not explain themselves satisfactorily. The policemen searched the tricycle and found 5 shotguns and 4 torchlights, 7 BB live cartridges concealed in a black handbag. They questioned them and they said they were sent by somebody to go and pick the bag from the bush. Efforts are being made to get the said person arrested.
The mastermind of the robbery syndicate, Hussein Sunkare, is however at large. Information gathered by the police indicates that anytime the robbers succeed in their act, they use the money to buy tricycles.
We suspect them to be perpetrating the robbery along that road. Yes, because even these weapons, we had them from the bush. Yes, they went and collected the weapons from the bush. They were hiding the weapons in the bush. So they sent the tricycle driver to go and bring them from the bush. That is why we suspect that they are operating along the Kario-Nadoli Road.
DCOP Boapia called on the public to volunteer information to the police to help in the fight against crime in the region. Video will soon be put before court. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And finally, Parliament's Finance Committee is urging the Bank of Ghana to fast-track the payment of severance packages of workers of the defunct UT and Capital banks. Now, at the hearing into the collapse of 7 banks today, the receiver, PwC, explains how they computed the packages for various staff. And of course, we'll get into those details in a bit, including what Chairman of the Finance Committee, Dr. Mark Isibe Yeboah, has been telling the media after the sitting.
3 different institutions appeared before the committee today. Officials from PricewaterhouseCoopers as well as KPMG, who were receivers in the takeover of the 7 banks, as well as the newly established bank, Consolidated Bank. Well, even before the proceedings kicked in, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu was around for the sitting, he had an interaction with the media, and he raised concerns about the loss of jobs and demanded firmer government action to deal with it.
I'm particularly concerned about loss of jobs and whether or not there will be capacity to pay severance award. What happens to the wives and children of the affected persons as school reopens? What is it that the government of Ghana can do to find new life to those institutions as possible? Don't forget that the US did it when they had a financial crisis. The state came in. Let's see what role the state of Ghana can play. I generally do not think that we've handled this matter properly. Thank you.
Well, the issue of job losses dominated the conversation. One disclosure that came up is that with the Consolidated Bank, for example, they have indicated they currently have 193 branches that they took over from the 5 collapsed banks. They would go ahead and close down 98 of them and run the rest, but they were unable to give firm disclosures on how many staff will be dismissed eventually.
We asked the question of the number of jobs that they expect to cut, and they said they are still in the process of rationalizing the platform they want to use, and that will determine where they will go. What we had from them was the number of branches that they would maintain. As of now, they have 191, and they've come to the determination that they will keep 93.
Well, you recall that MP for Bogatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, boycotted yesterday's sitting and described what is being done here as a cover-up and something that will lead nowhere. Chairman of the committee, Makasibe Abua, says they've allowed that matter to rest and they won't go back to it again.
The minority leader, the majority leadership, and I think we should let sleeping dogs lie. To the extent that the committee has converged again today to continue with our work, I think there are no issues outstanding. The
minority MP leading their side on this committee, Fifi Kwete, says a lot of progress has been made in terms of getting a fairer understanding of what exactly led to the collapse of the banks following the 2-day sitting. The probe lasted virtually the whole day from around 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. It will all come to an end on Friday, and then a decision on what next will be taken. From Parliament House in Accra, my name is Joseph Opoku-Gakpo.
So much more coming your way on that story and others when we continue with the AM show. But Roland, I think it's time the four got consolidated around some newspapers, right?
Yes, definitely. And Mama V is looking very, very sweet.
Yes, indeed.
With her outfit today.
You will not believe what Mama V is wearing. She herself doesn't believe what she's wearing. You're going to love it. And of course, oh, I like her hair though.
Yeah, today
oh,
looks
God,
different.
so much.
I don't know whether it's a cap or it's a natural, it's a sold on.
Why do you want to reveal trade secrets?
Oh, no, but now it's a norm. Like it's normal. Either you sold it or it's a cap or it's a norm. Now it's become part of the fashion or the style.
Children don't know that Santa doesn't exist.
Well,
don't you know?
You know, when my dad gave birth to me, he already had a pim-pim. So I thought that people were born being bowed. Seriously. Then I grew up, got to know that, well, I also had my hair receding, so it was normal. So I got to grips with... Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but of course, Mama V is looking delightful, and you'll see what we're talking about in just a moment when we come back with a newspaper review.